July the 10th, 2019. As you're looking at some of the updates that are coming in from the National Hurricane Center now, this one 8 a.m. Eastern, and it's for the Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico. It says potential tropical cyclone 2. Now, if it goes into a tropical depression, it will become could become a hurricane. But it says tropical cyclone expected to form by Thursday over the northern Gulf of Mexico, guys. That's tomorrow. Storm surge and tropical storm watches issued and heavy rainfall expected. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of the charts that you see there. One is wind speed probabilities. Now, when I show you this, I want to point out something. That's under current conditions. They do not know how much more strength the storm may gather. But again, this is the potential wind speed probabilities and a couple other things. Let's check it out. Now, this is forecast out 5 days under current conditions. The white dot represents the area where the center of rotation is now. Again, it's just a tropical low. What you're looking at is the percentage chance of tropical storm or cyclone winds. Now, that is 1 minute average equal 39 miles per hour. That it makes it a tropical cyclone. And then the percentage of that happening is in the color-coded band. So if you're here in the center, you're at an 80 to 90% chance of having tropical cyclone winds within the next 5 days. We're going to look at the arrival time. When you get into right along the coastline, guys, with this red area, you're at a 70% chance. Now, this is cyclone. When this thing becomes a tropical storm, you're going to see a different story come out. Then, again, it goes into 60% chance as you go up into central Louisiana and eastern Texas in this area. You can see what goes on from there. And this is what they're showing for predicted arrival times. Again, today is Wednesday the 10th. Tomorrow on Thursday the 11th. You can see the location of the storm somewhere in this area. Thursday 8 a.m. just off the mouth of the Mississippi River. They're starting to see tropical storm winds. Guys, that's going to increase your surge because you see the direction all of this is moving. So think about that. It's going to push the water inland. By Thursday at 8 p.m. tomorrow, this is going to be up into New Orleans and on the Lake Pontchartrain, Lake Bourne area, coming into Mississippi. It's already before 8 p.m., guys, because of the way this line moves up into Alabama. You know that it's already past the coastline, okay? So after tomorrow, 8 a.m., during the day, you're going to start to see this increase in storm surge and tropical storm force winds. By Friday, 8 a.m., central Louisiana, coming across Jackson, Mississippi, same scenario. Friday, 8 p.m., you're moving well into Texas, northern Louisiana. You've got Arkansas here. It's going to be moving up into Oklahoma and over into Arkansas, guys. So there's going to be a large area that's affected by this. Could be just heavy rain and some gusty winds. Could see some tornadoes like we saw this morning. So it's time to kind of realize where we're at with the storm. And guys, this is the really important part. Under current conditions, you notice we're here. We're going to go into a depression sometimes today. Tropical depression, tropical storm, and look at this. By 7 a.m. Saturday, a hurricane setting off the Louisiana coast. It says, note, the cone contains the probable path of the storm, but does not show the size of the storm. Hazardous conditions can occur well outside of this. And what they're saying, this is not where the storm, or the size of the storm, which it will be a little further back. We saw it as it's going to move into Alabama and Florida and Mississippi. But they predicting the cone to go, or the center of circulation, somewhere within this area. Then come ashore as a hurricane for a full day, 7 a.m. Saturday to 7 a.m. Sunday, still a hurricane. Tropical depression as it rapidly decreases in intensity as it moves over land and gets out of that warm water. This is the current model from the National Hurricane Center. And what these guys are good at is kind of taking all the models and centering them. And so that's what we're looking at. Also, this is for storm surge. And what you've got, guys, in the light pink, and that's what we're seeing now here in this lavender color, storm surge watch. We don't have any warnings out yet, but this covers from the entrance, Lake Bourne, out of the Gulf of Mexico into Lake Pontchartrain, right along the border of Mississippi, and covering the entire Mississippi River Delta out to the mouth, and then back into central Louisiana here. Right now, you're under a storm surge watch. As you know, along this area, along the coast, how low-lying it is. So pay attention to that. Heed the warnings. I'm sure most of you are storm savvy. Now, a quick look at the 2-day graphical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center. You notice they have the 2 over the X, but it's still listed as a potential tropical cyclone 2. It's going to change very quickly. But as of 10 a.m., which is 10 minutes ago from when I'm doing this video at 10:10, it says maximum sustained winds 30 miles an hour. Minimum central pressure at 10:11. Guys, last night offshore there was pressure that was in the 900s. It was dropping. It's moving west, southwest at 8 miles an hour. West, southwest, guys, that means it's still dipping out into the Gulf. It's not moving west. And the longer it does that, the more it's going to strengthen. Now, this is a new update also. Notice it says 11 a.m. That's on the East Coast. We're again 10:11 now. And guys, here, central Mississippi, with this wind pushing, outside it's 87 degrees on my weather station, 78% humidity, but already 101 as far as the real feel. And guys, it was bumping 111 yesterday. But here's your current spaghetti models. You've still got this one model that's from the TABS that turns it up into Mississippi from the point it's at now. You have the bottom model that brings it down, and then a sharp turn back across the Louisiana area up into central Mississippi through Memphis. The other models are kind of following the National Hurricane Center. More of them are right in the area where we just saw from the Hurricane Center, guys. And one brings it into Houston. So we know that this is going to change throughout the day. And, of course, we're going to keep a really close eye on it. But, guys, all the areas that you saw in that cone from the National Hurricane Center should be aware of this. And Dallas, from Dallas to Memphis, watch for heavy rains. You're not going to get hurricane force winds or anything like that. You can see pop-up tornadoes over the weekend. Just kind of put that in your plans. And looking at this European model, you can see that they kind of predicted the storm strengthening the entire time. But as this thing cycles, now looking at close-up new infrared radar, guys, you can see the storms again over the Mississippi River Delta area, all the way up into the western sections of Lake Pontchartrain. In New Orleans, you've been getting shower after shower in there, and you can see all of this energy winding up in the Gulf of Mexico, guys. Just take a look at this area here. And you're seeing the formation of a very powerful storm, in my opinion. Look at that rotation. The longer it sets out there, the more trouble that this area is going to be in, guys. The rivers are flooded. The Mississippi River is flooded. We were dealing with the Shafalal watch less than a month ago, and they were just about to open the gates then and flood that Shafalal basin. So I don't know if we're going to see that situation again, guys, but this is going to be a major rain event that could match the 2016 1,000-year flood that the same area experienced 3 years ago. And here you can clearly see the energy. You got the sun coming up. You've got extreme temperature. Again, it's 101 as far as the real feel here. I'm not far from this area. And look at the cloud tops popping up. It's just producing more and more rain. And this thing, guys, is winding up back here. Now, this particular radar gives you a very good idea in the lighter pink colors, the surface area, and in the red areas, the upper cloud cover. And again, it points out very clear rotation, guys. Once they reach this point, I'm sure by the noon update, guys, this will be a tropical storm, if not by early afternoon. But all it's going to do is sit here in this excessively hot water. It's like bath water if you've been down along the coast, guys, into Florida, anywhere. It's very warm. So it's sitting there just like nitro being pumped into an engine right now. This is going to be one to remember. The quicker it comes ashore, the better off we're going to be. Now, one thing we've talked about is that the Gulf Stream is no longer circulating through this area. And the freshwater flooding coming out of the Mississippi River and other rivers is putting fresh water into so much fresh water into this area that the dolphins are dying off. And someone said, well, they breathe air, BP. How's that algae affecting them? Guys, because fresh water affects their skin. It's like acid in a way. They just cannot deal with it over a very long period of time at all. The river's been flooded for months. But the algae blooms and stuff, this could help that. But as we pump more rainwater into the rivers, you're going to have a reflushing of that fresh water back out here. Now, maybe it will still help aerate things, and maybe it will do that, but we're going to have continued fresh water, but maybe we can get a relief on this algae bloom. Guys, this is what we're dealing with. Quick look at New Orleans. I was checking out this webcam earlier just after that tornado warning coming out, and there was one of the storms were just starting to pass, and the downtown streets were starting to flood. Of course, it's the French Quarter. It's very low, lower than sea level, and you expect that. New Orleans has these large pumps. But let's just take a look at it currently. And guys, looking at this live image, this is the French Quarter downtown. This is called the Cat's Meow Balcony. It's part of the EarthCam series from around the globe. But earlier, just after the tornado warning, guys, the vehicles here were 6 or 8 inches in water. And it was reminding me of the no-wake zones if you're a boater. And I was saying it's a no-wake zone because they were actually pushing water up into the doors of these restaurants and clubs here on, again, downtown. In the French Quarter itself, you got Bourbon Street and you got the river very close, but water was running towards the river very quickly, and you saw all the gutters and draining very quickly. So it looks like the pumps are working. That's a great thing. But it was, again, about 6 inches deep in this area a couple hours ago. We'll keep an eye on it. I'll put a link to this webcam if you want to keep an eye on it in your area. All my friends there. But we're watching it, guys. Be prepared. It's a heads up. Be safe.